Hey, so I wanted to do just a quick little video. I feel like I start all of my videos off saying that, so sorry if I do. But somebody had requested a video kind of on bonding and attachment with an adopted child. And so I can kind of give my experience. This was the first baby that we had brought home. We didn't have any biological children at home already for me to kind of compare, adopted versus biological. And we brought our son home the day before he turned 7 weeks. So we didn't get him as a newborn. He had, formed those mother attachments to his birth mom. The birth father wasn't really involved. I'd only seen him a couple times. So he didn't really have like the father attachments, but he definitely did have an attachment to his mother. And so the first couple days, were kind of, especially that first night, was a little rough. Kind of made me a little nervous, because we were first-time parents, and we bring home this baby that is just crying and is upset, but he was 7 weeks old, and everything changed in an instant. Like, none of the same people, none of the same sounds, smells, everything was new. He was in a new car seat, he was in new clothes, in a new place with new people, so it's a lot, for a baby. It's a big change, and maybe with older children, you can explain better, what's going on. Obviously, we couldn't explain to him. So that first night, he was kind of fussy, and so I, of course, had the, I don't know what I'm doing. He doesn't, I can't do this. I can't make him quit crying. I'm the mother. I'm supposed to make him quit crying. Yes, I, had that meltdown, even though I had been his mother for 2 hours. I was supposed to be able to make him stop crying because I was his mother. So, yeah, don't be hard on yourself. That is one of the big things is, whether it's a newborn or a slightly older child, just give yourself time and patience because it doesn't always just happen, right away. So don't panic if you can't automatically soothe the child because that just makes it worse. But so those first couple days, he wasn't a fussy baby. He was still, kind of calm, but we could tell after those first couple days, seeing his true personality, we could tell the difference in, just his transitioning and getting used to new people and new places. And, he was still in the same formula, so we did have, some things that were the same. We didn't change everything. But, so we, he didn't have any kind of schedule. Nothing, everything changed for him. I did wear him a lot. I know different people feel differently about this. I did have the Moby wrap, which I would swear by the Moby wrap. I still put him in the Moby wrap, but he's 7 months old. But I would put him in there, and, from the beginning, everybody, in our family even commented, he kind of just knew that I was his mom, and I think being that because obviously my husband held him, but I held him a lot because even though he wasn't a newborn, and people say, after 6 weeks they start thinking this is how it's supposed to be, but, that's okay. You hold your child. You want them to know who you are, and you want them to form those attachments. So we held him a lot. I would put him in the carrier, in the Moby wrap, because that really calmed him down if he ever did get really fussy. I think being in that, and not to go into too much detail with his birth mom, but I don't, she never swaddled him, wrapped him up, and so that became one thing that he really loved, being swaddled and wrapped up really tight to the point where he was hot and sweaty. Was when he was the happiest, and still is. He still needs a blanket, usually, wrapped around him somehow to be comfortable and to go to sleep. So those are kind of things you just have to figure out. But I would definitely just suggest, depending on the age of the child, if you can put them in a Moby wrap or an Ergo, some type of carrier, just to form those attachments by having them up against you. That really, I think, made a big difference. And I have heard, if it is an older child, well, not older, but toddler even, make sure that the parents are the ones who feed the child. Make sure they're the ones who comfort the child, because those are things, you want the child to know that you're the one to come to for comfort, for food, for those basic needs, that you're going to provide it. So I know some people, if it's an older child, they don't want other holding them, until they can form that attachment. With Hudson, he was such a baby that we weren't strict about other people holding him, but I know that is one thing. If they're older, a lot of people prefer. But yeah, so we didn't really have any issues forming attachments. I can't imagine loving him anymore, feeling any different about him if I had given birth to him. Just kind of one of those, from the first time I held him, like he was my baby and I knew him, and that's, it just, there's no words to describe it. So I did have, and I have heard of other adoptive moms, kind of having that guilt, and especially, when we got the baby and we were so happy to have him, but knowing that the happiest day in your life is the saddest day in the birth mom's life, because, where you're getting this baby, she, in a sense, is losing the baby. And so, you have that guilt of, I'm so happy doing something that's making her so sad. And, and then I could see on different social media how hard of a time she seemed to be having. And so I did struggle some with that aspect of it, with feeling bad and feeling like, we were doing this to her. Not that that at all was the situation, but you do kind of just have that little bit of guilt for being happy when they are not. But yeah, hopefully that kind of answers your question and what you were wanting. But yeah, I haven't had any issues. Nobody, like my husband and I, our family, no one has had any issues with the child being adopted as opposed to a biological child. We do have adoption in our family, both sides, placing for adoption and being adopted. So it's not, I know some families may have a harder time, coming to terms and accepting a child. That wasn't an issue with either of our families. But yeah, so hopefully that answers it. If not, feel free to ask or put any comments below. And on to the next one.